Thanks everyone for joining this conversation today. What I want to have is not like a demo or some sort of marketing speech or something like that. No, it's really developers talking to developers. So what I have here is just a Plastic SCM. I don't have a presentation today or something like that. We are a very reduced group. We are 8 people on the list right now. So I would really appreciate, guys, if you wanna talk, say whatever you want, give us feedback about plastic, say what you like, what you don't, ask questions, whatever. It's like and okay, I was actually reading Michael Palmer chat. Okay, I'll try to keep focused on my speech. Okay, so I was saying that it's kind of all of us sitting around a table, right, and sharing ideas. Although all of us are kind of on a different place and all over the world. So let's try to keep it this way, right? Open and as plain as possible. So well, I will check how can I give you, uh, yeah, how can I just allow you all to talk. I'm muting everyone just in case you want to say something, right? And well, should be open for everyone right now. Okay, guys. So, in case you don't know me yet, I'm Pablo Santos. I'm the co-founder at one of the co-founders in Plastic SCM, and I'm extremely happy to be sharing today what we've been working on for 4.0. I guess this view you have on screen is not new because most of you have heard about it already. Most of you have already seen it on the website, on the blog, tweet, and so on. And some of you even have downloaded it, played with it, and so on. What we've tried to come up with for 4.0 is actually a really redesigned stuff. And as you can think, it's not only what you're seeing on the screen. We have the let's say native look and feel right now on Windows. For the ones of you who really miss the black thing, we still have a way to 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 come up with the old black i3 plastic SCM thing, right? So it's very easy to pop it up. Okay, let's focus on the important things and forget about this kind of stuff. What we're focused on for plastic SCM 4.0 is the following. We wanted to have better distributed support. That's why you're seeing here the sync view, for instance, where we can just sync with remote branches and remote repositories and stuff like that in an easier way than was doable before. We want to have better visualization. That's why we redesigned the branch explorer. It's something you'll be seeing in a second here. And we wanted to have much better branching and merging. I think it was also good, but we always had the idea that it could be even better, right? And that's something we have been working on. So branching is much faster, merging is much better, easier, and so on. One of the changes we have done, and I was discussing with, I think one of you on the list, I think a few minutes ago, now I have to answer still some emails today, is about some of the underlying changes in 4.0. It's not just about the beauty and the graphics and so on. It's because we really changed the way in which the system is structured. At the end of the day, if you are true hackers and look a little bit on the database in 4.0 and 3.0, you'll see there are almost no changes. So you will think, oh, hey guys, how did you manage to do a big core change on the kernel of the system to if the database is almost the same? Well, the thing is that we changed the way in which chain sets are resolved, which basically means now we have a more chain set oriented system than we had before. If you look at the branch explorer here, you see each chain set is linked to the previous chain set. That can look just a lot like a graphical beauty here, but there's an important thing, and it's the following: it means that actually chain set tracking is done before is done differently than it was done before. It means that actually the entire system is based on chain set. The entire resolution of the system is based on chain set, and there's a partnership relationship. The main difference is that every chain set is kind of an isolated structure. It was not like that before. Before you had to actually resolve stuff to make resolutions to actually come up with a tree. When I go here and do something like broad repository on this chain set, right now it's something static. So the chain set already know what's there. Before, you can think, okay, hey, I can do that with 3.0 too. Yes, you can, but the system underneath was doing a lot of resolution. It means now will be much faster, and it has also a lot of impact on the way we merge and on the way we do things like, for instance, merging and replication. Okay, I will try to answer some of the questions you posted. Let me check 1 second. Here we go. Okay, Trevor is asking, how does Plastic handle large sets of binary data? And well, basically this, right? Okay, one of the questions is if we can do switching between branches bigger than 50 gigabytes. Okay, two things here. First, large files. Yes, we can do that. In fact, one of the latest things we did is that in 3.0, prior to the latest version we released, and also in the betas of 4.0, we had some sort of limit, which was okay. The biggest file we can handle was about 250 gigabytes, single file. Huh? I'm not talking about the entire repository, which initially doesn't have any limitation. Yet a single file was somehow limited to 250 gigabytes. We have several customers and some prospects asking for really big data support, like 1 terabyte, actually like 300, 400 gigabytes. So we are doing our tests right now with 1 terabyte file. So a single file holding 1 terabyte. It's kind of a crazy thing, but we support it. And about large data sets, our testing right now is done with workspaces with 1 million files, which is kind of 10 times bigger than our previous expectations, because it's kind of a little bit, and allow me to say that, it's a little bit crazy to work in such a big workspace. Yes, we can do it right now. So, about switching with between branches where the difference are bigger than 50 gigabytes. Okay, it will all depend on the speed of your network in case you are working with a central server on just the speed of your computer and your hard drive. You are working with a local system, right? With a local server. Okay, let's continue. Well, one of the things I'm more proud of is the new branch explorer. You can see it here working, and well, that's the new way of rendering we have. We are actually browsing my local repository that I have here on my laptop. But one of the really nice things we can do is the following. I can go to the properties here. I can go to replication sources. That's new on 4.0, and I see, okay, I have my local server, which is my laptop, and I have my remote server, which is Diana, which is our central server here in Codice, right? What I'm going to do right now is try to connect to Diana, and then here we go. What I see is an extended branch explorer, and you see dashed lines and dashed chain sets. It means they are remote. I don't have them here, right? They are right now remote, being retrieved from remote servers. But the good thing is I can have this extended view of the repository, which is obviously much bigger than what I have, and I'm seeing all the contributors to different servers. This is a server from one developer, then our central server here, some other servers up here and there, and then I can go there and check the stuff. But the good thing is I can do things like, well, this chain set is remote right now. It's not even on my server, and I can go there and diff the chain set content. And hey, it will just connect to the remote server and do the diff. So distributed working is much better than it used to be. One interesting point here is that, as you're seeing, the diff view change. We are now more oriented toward seeing changed files, added files, moved files, removed files, and that's what we're seeing here, right? We see this on our differences view, on our pending changes view, everywhere. That's a pretty cool thing. Oh, one of the beauties of this view is that, okay, I have here branch 9954, which is remote, right? If I go to properties, it says it's actually living in the remote server Diana, but it was replicated from a server called Snake. one of the things I can do right now is, okay, right click, replication, pull this branch. So get this branch to my system and make it local. So here we go. We just launched the replication as we always did, and it's working, and the branch has been imported in the repository. If I refresh my diagram now, hey, you see, no dashed lines anymore. The branch is here. That's pretty good, I think, for working with remote systems, right? That's one of the things I'm very proud of. You also can see that we changed the way of rendering. Labels are now applied to chain sets. For the ones of you dealing with huge number of labels, it means labeling right now is extremely fast. Before, labeling was a per item operation. It gave flexibility in some really advanced scenarios, but we really decided to switch to this new way of working because most of the time a label is just a point in time in the system, a really well-known point, and you just apply it to a label. Sorry, to a chain set. That's what we do, and what we render here with this new way of rendering the labels. As you can see, labeling is extremely easy, extremely fast, just putting an element attached to the chain set. And during the replication process, it was actually one of the lowest parts when repositories were really big, right? We had some customers with thousands of, well, actually hundreds and hundreds of branches. I wouldn't say thousands, labels. And replicating was a little bit painful. That's something really fast right now. Michael Palmer asks, sorry, my pronunciation is not good, Michael. If labels are still static, yes, they are. You apply a label, and if you wanna move it, right now you have to delete it and create another one. We can. Okay, thank you, Michael. We can actually move a label. We could do that, and that's a question I can ask you guys, and you can send me your opinions. I mean, it would be very doable for us to just tell you, okay, reapply this label in different chains. The problem for me is that if we allow to do that, then if we already have some branches starting from this point, you see what I mean, right? I have a branch starting from label from my baseline, then I move the baseline, then where this branch was starting from? A little bit confusing, right? And that's one of the things we wanted to actually to avoid, right? To have a better tracking here, this kind of stuff. Okay, I will go back to my system, stop showing remote data. And well, some of the other things we have included in 4.0 is more enhancements in visualization. Let me show you this. Branch Explorer, and then I have options like show selected branches in a new diagram, show selected unrelated branches, show pending merges, show a custom diagram, show remote changes in the current branch from. So instead of rendering the entire diagram with all the other changes coming from the different servers, I can just say, okay, only from this server. But one of the things I love is this, like show selected and related branches in the new diagram. Then it goes here, and then I just show the branches related to the one I have, which was main DAG, right? So I have only those branches here, which makes it a little bit easier to follow and to navigate the entire branch diagram when branches are really, well, when the number of branches is really big, right? Well, there are really a lot of new stuff here on the branch diagram. It's better, it has better navigation. We create a better zooming mechanism, something you were asking for. Like now I can wheel it, right? Something that was not available in 3.0. I can just use the mouse wheel and move up and down. I can do things like, for instance, click on a merge link and then say something like go to source chain set. You miss that, right? We also have things like the legend, but well, the legend is actually not the important thing. The important thing is that now we render the merge links, the cherry picks, the subtractive links, the cherry picks from a chain set interval, all of that. And also something very important. You remember in the old branch diagram, when you're doing a merge, you are in progress. You go to the branch diagram and you don't see any links because they are not there yet. You have to check in to see it. Now we have the concept of in progress merge, which means when you are still in progress, you already can see stuff, right? I think that's an interesting thing to see and to know, right? Okay. Let me show you something else. Okay, that's a little bit of an overview on the Branch Explorer. Yeah, we have included something else that I think it's very important for integrators, which is show pending merges for selected branches. So I go here and I see, okay, I have some pending merges here and there. And also display options, we have things like the visibility mode that we already have, but you also have a relayout, which means you can move branches up and down and redesign somehow your own branch diagram. That's something that developers ask several times. I've also included this thing, which is the display the levels, so I can kind of restrict to the branch leveling. Like, okay, I only want 2 levels of branches. You see some branches went out. If I go to 3 levels, then I can see up to 3 levels, stuff like that. So what's that? I didn't blog about it yet, but my goal here is to be able to keep the focus on strategic branches, for instance, a release branch or a project branch, something like that, and then kind of tactical branches, short-lived task branches. Something I love, and I didn't show you yet, is this thing. Display only relevant chainsets. Look at this branch. I have this chainset, I have this chainset, this other one, but the only important ones are probably this one and this one, because I can have 1,000 of intermediate check-ins on the middle of a branch. Let me show you this one, which is bigger. Okay, if I go to display only relevant changes, the diagram gets really simplified because it will only show me the changes that are the last on the branch, the first on the branch, and the change that receiving merges or being a source. Okay, basically being the source of or the destination of a merge. That's something we also include in the new system. Okay, let's go to something a little bit more hardcore. Let me show you the new toy, the Sync Replication View. What I like here, why I like this thing. Well, we introduced this, and doing replicas is much better because I can do things like, okay, show me if I have something remote here on the central server. And it goes and tells me, hey, yes, look, you're here, but all these chainsets are new. Okay, I can go and check, right? I can just go here and see, hey, what's new here? What's new here? What's new here? Something that I think it's very good because it introduced some sort of replication preview, something we didn't have in 3.0, right? You can see what you're going to download before you replicate. But we have, okay, it's kind of cool, it's graphical and all that, right? Very useful. But we came up with this different view too, which is the sync replication. So you can define whatever servers you want to work with. Like, okay, we'll create a new sync view. You give it an end. You give, okay, this is my source server, my destination server. I have 3 different ones. I will explain you what's that. It's pretty customizable. And then what I have here is, okay, I have the local server called Diana, and I have a mirror server called Eunomia. And then it tells me there are 63 outgoing chainsets from Codis at Diana, repository Codis at server Diana, to repository Codis at server Eunomia. Just to give you a little bit of background, the main server here is a Windows server running with SQL Server. This server here is a Windows server running with MySQL. And we have another one here, which is Oracle, which is a Linux server running Oracle. But the interesting thing is that you can see all the pending branches with pending changes, right? So I can see, hey, I have pending changes to pull. I can just go here and pull all changes, right? In branch fix BL 187. This is actually your 3.0 maintenance branch, right? And I also see there are changes on the DAC branch. This is our 4.0 development branch. And then we also have some pending branches to push or pull, right? In this case, just to push. If I go to my local system, that's something interesting. I have another view which is from my local server to Diana. So it's my replica here on my laptop, the one I'm using to do the demo, against Diana, the central server. And if I go here, I have actually the view set up with 3 different repositories. The 3 repositories I use PNUnit, which is our extension to end unit testing, the third party, and the Codis one. The third party are actually components, and this is our source code. Let me show you this. If I go here, we'll start doing its homework, and it will tell me, okay, you have 119 incoming chainsets, and no outgoing changes. What does it mean? It means I didn't replicate everything into my Nerva third-party local repository. Why? Because I'm just working with a few branches here. I just have like the fix, the main, and maybe that. I think I also have that. Yes, down here. That's why all the others are not here. If I compare Codis, you see it will take a little bit longer. Actually, this is one of the things we will improve for the final version. It will take a second, but right now it has to do its homework, right? And here you will see I have outgoing and incoming changes. So changes I have on my laptop that I have to push, and changes I have on my server that I can pull. It all depends on whether I want to do it or not, right? Okay, questions so far? Because I think you are seeing kind of, some new things here, right, that you didn't see before in 3.0. Any questions, comments, things you like or you don't? While it still loads, it's taking a little bit. Okay, and here we are. So what I have here are my changes on the branch I'm working on right now, 9749. I have several changes to push, actually 6. And then I have, look, 4,000 changes to pull. Why so many? Because I simply pulled a fraction of the branches we have on the central server. It's enough to work because each change set in 4.0 is pretty independent. So something that you could do with 4.0 is the following. You could create a branch on your central server, just a branch, which is a child of a specific baseline. You can pull it to your local server, and your local server can be empty. You just pull it and you can work. Do changes and push again. This is some sort of partial replica, which is pretty doable right now with the beta. You have to do the trick of creating the branch on the remote server first. We'll probably come up with a better version on the final one, which is able to just select it somehow. But right now you have to do it this way, and then you have partial replica, fully working partial replica. The good thing is that, well, it's something not doable with other SCMs out there. So I think we're kind of happy with this. And the good thing is that you can actually work in a way you couldn't do before in an easy way. Okay, I have a question from Josh Carroll who's saying, any improvements to working across multiple repositories besides replication? Having multiple repositories and needing to make changes across all of them for a single feature could get cumbersome. Yeah, I see what you mean. Well, we have two options here. We don't have them yet here on 4.0, but we are working on two things. First, configurable workspaces, which is going to be a better and simplified way of selectors, but actually with a little bit more power, because it will give a way to select, to download even parts of repositories. That's doable with 3.0. We have the root section on the selector and stuff like that, which is kind of pretty advanced, but we're trying to make it a little bit easier, right? And the second thing we are working on, and still not there, is crosslinks. We're going to be able to create an entry on a directory which actually points to a given revision on a different repository. The question we have right now here, the doubt we have, is whether do it just read-only, which is kind of the easy way and kind of consistent way to do it, or being able to do it read and write. Like, for instance, I'm displaying that. I have my items view here, and then I go here and suppose doc is just pointing to a different repository. I will have an entry called doc in my repository, but it will be pointing to a different repository. Kind of the multi-repository support on selectors and 3.0, but hard code into the repository and configurable by the user. The point is that making it read-only is extremely easy and easy to understand too, which is the point, the key point for me at least. But if you make it read and write, it kind of be a little bit cumbersome, right? I would really love to hear from you here. Okay, so I already talked about the sync view, the branch explorer, and I'm going to jump to one of my favorite things. Let me show you that. It's the pending changes view. Okay, here we go. We changed some stuff. It's kind of similar to some of the latest ones in 3.0, but as you can see, everything is done through modified files, added files, stuff like that. In fact, I think we have to change this, modified by changing, to be consistent with the rest of the system. Um, right now, as you can see, we always use the same thing, right? Modify, change, other stuff like that. Let me show you something. I will go to my workspace, which is actually here. I will do something like this. Open in Windows Explorer, and then I will do something like this. Source, plastic app.ico, and I will remove it on disk. Okay, that's the easy one. Let me go to pending changes, refresh, and okay, let me configure the options. Okay, here I have. We identify the file was deleted. You know there are two ways to delete a file. Actually, you can go to the items view, click on delete, and it will be deleted from the plastic control and the disk. If you just delete it on disk, plastic will tell you, hey, what do you want to do? What you really do you really want to commit it, or you want to undo it? If I press on undo, what does it mean? The change will be undone, which actually means the file will get back here. Okay, but that was kind of easy, right? Let me let me try something else. I have a file called avatar loader here. It's a small one. I will load it with Visual Studio. I will make a small modification like plastic SCM dot. Let me put here something like .org. I will overwrite it. Go back to the pending changes view. That's something you already have in Fedora, and here I have it. Somehow we got a lot of requests from people who prefer the modified check-in workflow. They like it better than the checkout modified check-in. We actually support both, but we improved a lot the just modified check-in workflow. That's something we already had before, so there's nothing special here. But let me show you something. This is where things start to get fun. Okay, I will call it like moved avatar loader. I just move it, go here, and here we go. We detect it has been moved. In fact, I can even show you it has been modified. Well, it's the same thing as before. I can show you here that it was modified, and down here, that's a new thing. I can show you it has been moved. That's something very exciting because what does it mean? It means we are introducing the concept, which is actually not new, but we try to have it in 4.0 of transparent SCM. So there are several ways of working. One is I tell the SCM what I'm going to do. It's good for former clear case users. I really love this way of working. Like you do a checkout, you tell the system what you're doing, stuff like that. But there's an alternative way of working, which is, hey, I just do my work. I just work on my IDE. I even don't use a plugin. I just make the changes. Just do the stuff, and then I go back, and Plastic finds out what I did and let me do the checking. The good thing on this checking is that when you go and check in, instead of seeing a modified directory, which was the usual in 3.0, you see the file was moved, you see the file was added, you see the file was deleted. So it's better and easy to understand. But the item tracking is actually cool because it's tracking the file even after it was modified, right? So it tells you, hey, this file is 90% similar to the previous revision, and I detected it was moved locally, right? So it was moved. Well, most of the modern SCMs out there can do that, but let me show you something else. Let me go to a different directory. Let me use this one. I will go to utils and I will remove it to utils demo, right? Let me find the modifications, and here we go. We are finding a move of a directory which tells the utils demo have been renamed, right? Okay, now if you ask me why this other beauty was renamed, this, I don't know, I will have to check, right? These two, I think I didn't rename those one. I don't know. But this one is actually finding a directory being renamed, right? What does it mean? It actually means we are tracking not only file moves, which is the standard for Mercurial or Git, stuff like that, but we can also track out of sync being moved locally a directory. We're using here all the technology we developed for the xdiff and xmerge and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. The what does it mean? Well, basically, as I said before, you can work being entirely disconnected. and just submit your changes. I really love this way of working right now. The alternative is also possible. You can still work with the option of, okay, don't find anything, don't find manually rename, don't find manually delete. Just show me the files I checked out, right? Just that. When is this a scenario interesting? As most of you know, this is interesting when your tree is huge and you don't want to have Plastic spending time finding changes on your hard drive. You just want to tell it what happened, right? That's what you want to do. Okay. Another thing we changed is the merge system, and that's really a big change because some of you already know, and we've been discussing that we changed traceability from the item level to the chain set level. What does it mean? For the ones that don't want to really get experts into merging, it just does mean one thing: merge is now much easier, much easier. It's in another order of magnitude. So if you have to copy merge from what I mean, you add like 2,000 files to a branch, you merge it into main, it will take a second. Before it was kind of not that fast. Okay, but copy merging is easy. The second thing is that when you have to check traceability, right now the traceability is checked in the branch explorer, right? So it goes through here. That's actually traceability, what you're seeing here, and that's everything it checks. Before, in Plastic 3.0, like happens with ClearCase and other systems, we went file by file, directory by directory. It's cool, it's powerful, but it's slow. And in 99% of the situations, people just prefer to merge this way. That's why we implement it. That's why we have it right now. And also because now it's possible to do really interesting stuff like detecting divergent move, detecting double move, stuff like that. For instance, right now, if you go to a branch, rename full to bar. You go to a different branch, rename full to different. Plastic will detect that. Before it was kind of able to do that, but it was not so easy. And now it will really present you the conflict in this way. Hey, you did a double move, or you did a evil twin, which is actually adding a file with the same name on two different branches. Right? It will detect it and let you help you solving it. And one of my favorite, which is the divergent merge, which is divergent move, which is you move the same file to two different directories in two different branches. Plastic will detect it, will tell you, hey, what do you want to do? Move to one of them or the other one. So we redesigned the entire merge system to support all this kind of crazy stuff. Why? Because it's every day more common to do refactors. You refactor a package on Java, you rename the file, you rename the directory hierarchy, you have different packages, all that, right? So we want to support all that, and that's why we redesigned the merge system. It's not only faster, it's much more powerful. We can discuss if you want, we will have a meeting just for that, to discuss about why item merge tracking is better, or if chain set based merge tracking is better. We can discuss all that. Well, one of the things I like here too is let me try something. I'm going to try to merge this branch towards against my destination branch right now. Okay, no, yeah, here it is. So one of the things I can do is, okay, well, it detected 407 items to merge. There's actually one conflict here, which is that this file was changed on source and destination. There's only one panel with merges. This means you are lucky. It means actually that there are no directory conflicts, so it's kind of easy, right? But one of the things I like here is that you have the view merge contributors on the branch explorer. So it's kind of explain me the merge. Let's go there. So it will show me the branch explorer, and will show me the source, the destination, and the branch base. So the destination branch, the source, and the base, which is actually the common ancestor, right? Let me show the base, which is back here in 229. Let me just show the relevant chain set. The diagram gets smaller, and we truly understand what's going on. I think it's an enormous advantage to when you are actually training people to get used to merging, right? You understand, okay, this is the base, because because actually the common ancestor, this is the source, and that's the destination, and that's the merge link you are trying. Kind of cool, right? Well, I would like to hear what you think, but I think it's a very good explanation. Uh, okay, so that's one of the things we add. This is just a cosmetical thing, but the important thing is what's under the scene, right? Is all the new mechanisms just identifying all chains and so on. As you can see here, well, there are several chains on the GUI, right? Everything, all views are tabs right now instead of the multi-view system we had before. I think the multi-view was very cool, but we had some people having issues with the system, so we just end up saying, okay, we give up. We say you're right, guys. Let's stick to something more standard. So we are happy to come up with a more standard user interface. Also, the merge is not a modal dialogue anymore. Modal dialogues scare people. I think so. So what we have now is just a tab. So it's just kind of more friendly. It's just here. You just do your merge to finish, and that's all, right? I want to show a little bit more complex merge. I will try to do a merge from an older branch. For instance, this one. This is gonna be funny. I will just try the merge. I don't wanna try. Okay, now that I'm here, when you click on a branch, you have all the options to merge a branch, and one of them is cherry pick a branch. Something that I think uh, uh, you think it's interesting, right? So it's able not only cherry pick chain set, but also branch. Okay, someone is telling me they love model dialogues. Let me check. Okay. Okay, Michael, you're saying you do like model dialogues. Oh my god. Okay, it's kind. The thing is that before, when you were merging, you had a dialogue for merging, then you had a message telling the merge was finished, another message telling you that you can introduce comments, all that stuff. And well, right now it's a little bit easier because it asks less questions, it's easier to do things like that. Also, one of the nice things is that you actually see the merges, the pending merges to comment on the pending changes view. I will show you that in a minute. Let me just go back here, and I will try a merge from this. Right? It's going to be a little bit of a nightmare, but okay, it will do it. It will take a little bit longer. Just a few seconds. Look, this is a cool one. I'm actually merging two branches that have a lot of things in that are not in common. I'm actually trying to merge 3.0 against 4.0. That's one thing that we didn't do before so far. That's why you can find some small bugs being fixed in 3.0 that are not yet in 4.0, right? We have to do our homework and merge it. And look how it looks like right now. We have things like evil twins, a lot of them. We have things like item loaded twice, which is that an item has been loaded in two different locations. We have, well, a lot of directory conflicts here, right? A lot of them. Well, some of them are just related to the way we are doing the 3.0 and 4.0. Okay, Michael said loves the name Evil Twin. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Okay, so you see that's the merge system having to deal with a very complex one. So 1,090 items to merge, a lot of changes, a lot of changes only on source, which means they will be just copied. Lots of added, some moved, and some deleted, and then the conflicts up there. That's how the new merge works. Now I'm going to switch to a simpler project, and I will do a branch cycle, a really small one, because I want to show you how the pending changes view shows the pending comments, right? The pending check-ins. Let me switch the workspace to this branch. Okay, now we are here. It shows you the house, right? That's also something new. It shows you the house icon, telling you, okay, you are working here. Also, we'll reduce the horizontal space used on the windows, right? So this time in the window, the full window is bigger and so on. This also are reacting to some of your requests as users, right? So let me do another modification here. We'll go to the hello world. Cool. Yeah, it's not a very difficult project. So here it is, and then I say hello plastic crew world. Okay, we'll just just overwrite. I will go to pending changes, refresh. I have it as checking. Another change. I will just check in. Here we go. I will go to the branch explorer. My change is already there. I will switch back to the main branch. I will merge from the branch. Okay, just a modification. I will just process all merges. Here we go. Okay, it's telling me I have a non-automatic one. Well, okay, let's go and solve it. This is a three-way merge window. No big changes here yet. And okay, I will keep it like this. But the nice thing that I want to show is this one. When I check in, I will actually check in the merge. Before, the merge will be just pending. So if I go here to the branch explorer, you see there's a pending check-in. There's a pending check-in here. And if I go to the pending check-ins, a pending merge, you see, hey, there's a merge from chainset 14 to the main task 04 branch. When I check in, merge it. When you check in, you will go and check in the merge too. So it's a little bit, well, it's actually the same thing, but we have more control now. Also, this is also new, right? The embedded div view. Okay, check in, and we're done. And now in the branch explorer, as you can expect, the merge link is there. Okay, some questions. The house icon, yeah, that's something that a lot of people requested. That's why we introduced it. So, as you can see, in every release, we try to somehow marry two different things. On one side, we try to come up with new stuff, especially in 4.0. This is the first big kernel change since we released Plastic back in 2006, and also we introduced a lot of requests from users, like a lot of people telling stuff and giving suggestions. Okay, there are 10 minutes left. I think you must be already kind of fed up listening to me. So feel free to ask questions and we can start a discussions if you want. Actually, if we were able to do it live, I mean not live, and really sitting on a table, it will be kind of more dynamic. So when is going to be when 4.0 is going to be out? Well, we plan to start releasing it to close customers as soon as possible. I mean, to put it into production. In fact, there's a big customer in HP, inside HP, big project, and we are already migrating them because we want to use them as I wouldn't say beta testers, but like a pilot, right? Like the big project using it. So the API, plugin API, going to be available. Well, that's a long story. That's a long story here. We want to have it. We don't have it yet. Right now, what we offer is automation through the command line. So it's very easy. That's what we do for testing in-house to automate the command line. It's kind of like the way Unix users do, and you can write a small thing API on top of it. We have some examples on Java and C#, so it's going to be there pretty soon. Attributes, Michael. Well, right now there are no changes on attributes. We will be glad to hear your suggestions, and I don't remember you sent any right now. We'll review that. Initially, no changes there right now. About support for Windows 2008 Release 2, the latest BL 224 is ready since last Friday and ready to download, and this issue should be fixed there. In fact, the problem we had was on the installer, not on the system itself, because we are using this Windows 2008 for, well, down here. One of our main servers is actually this system. We had an issue with installer, not with the actual system, as far as I know. Any other questions out there? Can you 2 to 4 should be the one that is having support for R2. Should be 2 to 4. Okay. More questions? I don't know if you can actually ask questions through the phone, just speaking. Should be possible, right? Do you have speakers? Any other questions? Okay, someone who wants to talk, here's someone there.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Will Plastic 4.0 allow us to create application packages that bring the parent branch dependencies with the package that is being created? I
Uh,
mean, when I create an application package from the main slash task 004,
yeah.
in 3.0 it will not bring the main dependencies files
Yeah. See what you
for
mean.
branching.
Yeah, you create a package and then you
Will
pull it on it.
4.0 allow that?
Yeah. Right now, if you create a replication package from task 004, you push it into a clean repository and you'll be able to work. You don't have
Yeah.
to. That's something doable, pretty doable with 4.0. That's one of the biggest changes we did. Actually, some of the underlying changes was to enable this kind of working. So you just import a package and
Yeah.
does that. And even you can even do it with live connection. If you just replicate branch task 004 from a remote server, you'll be able to work because everything is here. Okay, actually it's not there, but the system will do it this way, right? I mean, it doesn't mean branching is heavier on 4.0. Not at all. It's as light as it used to be. Okay.
Yeah, it's a really cool feature that I would like to use in 3.0, but I couldn't find any way to do that. When I created a replication package from the sub branch, it wasn't bringing the
Yeah.
parent branch and the parent branch.
Yeah.
So okay, that is.
This is
Thank you.
going to be there in 4.0. I mean, if you use the beta, it's there already. So play with it and let us know. Okay. Thank you, Michael.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, someone here, Joseph's asking if it's possible to install 3.0 side by side with 4.0. Yeah, this is a question that I got on the forum a few weeks ago, I think. Yeah, it is possible. I sent a description on how to do it there. It's not the easiest thing on earth to do right now, but I mean, we are developers, guys. So yeah, it's pretty doable and it won't take you more than 10 minutes. It's the way, for instance, one of our main servers is holding the two systems right now. For instance, I have a shortcut here for to 4.0 and to 3.0. And if I start 3.0, I will show you it's actually on the same server. I think it's in Diana too. So the two main servers are actually running on the same system. Well, so, Michael also asked whether there will be integration for open source project tracker. Okay, now I cannot connect with my main server for some reason. I will check later. I don't know if I lost connection to the main one. Okay, so open source project tracker. Well, we do integrate with several open source systems right now, like Boxilla and Mantis, and well, there's a big list out there. Well, actually not huge, but big and growing. So so yes, that will be doable. There are two ways. You can create your own extension, or you can tell us exactly the details, and we can put it on our pipeline. Can you have both 3.0 and 4.0 servers? No, no. 3.0 and 4.0 are incompatible. So a client is 3.0 is not compatible with a server in 4.0 and vice versa. I'm sorry about that. In fact, we are still finishing the migration process from 3.0 to 4.0 because it's not difficult, but it's not straightforward. There are some changes on the core system. Okay, guys, more questions? We are a few minutes left, so I will be more than happy to exchange ideas. In fact, something I would like to encourage is that you can use our forum to let us know about what you think about 4.0. We are pretty responsive on the forum, so we'll love to chat about what you think and what you need. Okay, will there be an SVN import for 4.0? Okay, there's already a subversion importer in 3.0, but the good news, and that's something I didn't cover today, but okay, we don't have time for everything. We have fast import and fast export support in 4.0. So we are able to import from Git everything, full history with merge links and everything. We are able to export it to get to right now already on the beta you have. And of course, you can follow the same path for almost everything out there. So you can export to the fast export format in subversion from TFS from everything and import to plastic. So that's something we were working on since kind of right now fast import format used by Git is kind of the lingua franca of SCM uh, SCM import and export. We're just supporting that, so you can import from almost everything. And I have even better news there. We are hardly working right now on the bidirectional sync. So right now we are able to import and export from Subversion right now without dealing with conflicts, but that's something that will be there probably next week. So you'll be able to sync a branch in Plastic with a branch in Subversion. It's not like the full import, right? It's just one branch that you want to keep in sync. Like, okay, your team is working with Plastic, but your main server is a Subversion because the big guys in the company still didn't change to Subversion. So okay, you just keep a sync branch and you push and you pull, and it will be there. Our plan is to release it all for TFS2, for Git2, and eventually for almost every moving thing on Earth. But in the meantime, you'll be able to do it with the fast import format, right? Which I think is very nice. Okay, more questions. Well, uh, will be my plan is to be holding these kind of meetings regularly. We try to do that at the beginning of the year. We end up just having a few of them. Now we are really committed to keep them running. So I think it will end up being a very good way to not only introduce new stuff and things we are working on and all that, but also a very good way to exchange ideas. That's what I would love to have. So, do you have any suggestions on the software to use? Because we are using go to webinar right now. So, yeah, not go to webinar. So, if you have any other suggestions, we'll switch to it. Because what I would really love to have is to an open conversation with you guys to exchange ideas and so on. More questions before we finish. Okay. Okay. I see some long-term plastic users on the list, like you, right? So feel free to say something, guys, if you want. You are really plastic experts. Okay. Otherwise, guys, I'll be more than happy to talk to you by email. My personal email is psantosl@codicesoftware.com. If you want to use it, I'm open to share ideas with you. Otherwise, you can always use a forum. The good thing if you use a forum is that guys, we can exchange ideas with some other people. So it's kind of very helpful for us to share things. And well, thank you all for joining today. I hope you find it useful. There are a lot of more things to delve into. I just went through some of the features I really like on Photo and I find useful. But there's more to tell. Any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. And see you next day. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.